Top 15 former WWE stars maybe you forgot.
If you are brand new to our channel, we invite you to take a moment to subscribe. Just click on the lit red button as well as the gray bell. Why the bell? Well, it will let you know every time we post a new video.
15.
Maven. Despite being part of WWE for almost 4 years, it seems that Maven was unable to achieve anything that would guarantee that he would be remembered by the WWE Universe in the years that followed. The only thing that Maven will be remembered for is that he was the male winner of the first ever season of Tough Enough as well as a 3-time hardcore champion, but none of these accolades stood for very much following his release. Maven departed from WWE back in 2005, and after a brief stint in TNA in the years that followed, it was reported back in 2013 that the former champion was now working as a bouncer at 1015 Midtown in New York City. While there are a number of stars who have been forgotten, there aren't many who have been able to hold down a regular job following their stint in the spotlight.
14. Giovanni. There are a number of female wrestlers who have come through the company over the past few decades thanks to the annual Diva Search. Many of these women were seen as eye candy that only lasted on the main roster for a number of months before they were released and then never seen again. Giovanni is a fantastic example of this as a former member of the 2004 Diva Search. Even though Joy came in third and didn't win the competition, she was signed to the company a few days later and became a character on SmackDown Live that was seen as a massage therapist. Giovanni was released from her WWE contract in 2005 due to budget cuts, but returned for a one-off appearance at WrestleMania 25 as part of the Women's Battle Royal, where she was finally able to make her in-ring debut, even though she didn't win the match. 13. Trent Barreta. Many hardcore wrestling fans will remember the Dude Busters from ECW's early years alongside Kaylan Croft. Barreta was the standout star of the team, and after Croft was released from WWE he was forced into a role as a singles competitor that he didn't seem completely ready for. Barreta moved down the ranks and became a talent enhancer, while only being able to work regular Superstars shows before the company sent him to the newly revamped NXT roster. At this moment in time, NXT was going through a number of changes itself and trying to become an established promotion, and it seems that Barreta just didn't make the cut. Barreta was part of the company for almost 4 years, but he was never able to make the kind of impact that the WWE needed him to, and since his release he has been struggling to remain relevant on the independent scene. 12. Ricky Ortiz. Ricky Ortiz was one of the first footballers who had been recruited and then sent to the company's developmental territory to hone his skills and become a successful grappler. Ortiz made his official WWE debut as part of the ECW brand and was someone who was able to become a star as part of the promotion. As with many stars who later made the switch to WWE's main shows, Ortiz struggled to continue to be impressive on the main roster, and a loss to Jack Swagger signaled the beginning of his downfall. When Ortiz was drafted over to SmackDown Live and expected to go on to a run as a heel, all of his flaws were there to see, and it seems that his lack of charisma was the main thing that caused WWE to make the decision to release him from the company. Ortiz has since become another name on WWE's hits and misses list. 11. Reks. Tyler Reks was a superstar who was able to make an impact on ECW following his debut before WWE allowed him to make the switch over to their main brands. It was as part of SmackDown Live that Reks became an established mid-card talent, but he was someone that WWE completely dropped the ball with. Reks had the look and the talent to go far in WWE, but the company wasn't ready to gamble on him. Reks' most memorable moment of his career was perhaps when he was part of the winning team at Bragging Rights back in 2010, but WWE still didn't see him as a viable investment. The lasting image that the WWE Universe has of Reks is where he was given an exotic dancer gimmick alongside Kurt Hawkins, before he decided to walk away from the wrestling business a few months later, in order to spend more time.
10.
10. Trevor Murdoch. Trevor Murdoch will be remembered as a former tag team champion alongside Lace Cade, but even though he and Cade are former three-time champions, it seems that they are a team that has been all but forgotten in the years that have followed their WWE release. Murdoch was seen as an angry Southern trucker, while the team was together before Cade turned on Murdoch back in 2008 in what later became his final feud on WWE TV. The former champion was released from the company just a month later, after he was drafted to SmackDown, but failed to appear as part of the show. He was featured on a recent episode of WWE's Where Are They Now?, where it was revealed that Murdoch's current job sees him installing fiber optic cables for a heavy equipment company. It seems that Murdoch has left the wrestling world behind him, and slowly he's becoming one of its most forgettable stars.
9.
9. Eric Escobar. Eric Escobar was someone that WWE invested more than 4 years in developmental, before he was finally brought up to the main roster in 2009. Even though Escobar looked the part, he was someone who was thrust into a storyline as Vicky Guerrero's lover, something that he never recovered from. Vicky later was separated from him, and he was put through an embarrassing run as her face, which showed his inability to adapt. The company then released him a few months later, after he failed to survive any more than 6 months on WWE's main stage. Even though Escobar was only part of the company a few years ago, it seems that even the most hardcore of wrestling fans find it hard to remember the former star. Escobar has since gone on to make a name for himself in World Wrestling League, a company where he still plies his trade as Mysterio. 8. Brooke Adams. Brooke Adams was part of the 2006 Raw Diva search that was later won by Layla. After becoming a finalist, Brooke was signed to WWE and aligned with Kelly Kelly and Layla in NXT, where they became part of Extreme Expose, which was basically a dance group that would perform each week as part of the show. Brooke was released from the company after having just a handful of matches, and was then signed by TNA, and became recognizable as Miss Tessmucker. Brooke has since proved that WWE definitely gave up on her too soon, since she has become one of Impact Wrestling's biggest female stars over the past few years as a former Knockouts champion. Brooke is only remembered now because of how successful her TNA career has been. Otherwise, if she had walked away from wrestling, then she would just be another female wrestler who was unable to make an impact in
7.
7. Manu. Manu is a member of the famous Inoue wrestling family, which could be why he was able to succeed in the company as long as he did. Manu made his debut back in 2007, and went on to violate the WWE wellness policy merely weeks later. It seems that despite this, WWE still stood by the star, and allowed him to return to the company when he had sat out his suspension. He later returned to the company, and aligned himself with Cody Rhodes, Ted DiBiase and Randy Orton as Legacy began to form. The group went on to become one of WWE's best heel stables at that time, but Manu didn't remain with them. He lacked any kind of presence, and seemed to be living off his name. He was never officially seen as a member of Legacy, and was fired merely weeks later after it was reported that he was rubbing people the wrong way backstage.
6.
6. Kevin Thorn. When WWE decided to reboot ECW back in 2006, Kevin Thorn was one of the men who was brought in to bulk up the roster. Thorn had appeared on WWE TV before, and was thought to be a good pair of hands, especially since he had a vampire gimmick in a world that had become obsessed with the supernatural creatures. Thorn had a number of feuds in the years that he was part of ECW, with the most memorable one being the New Breed up against the ECW originals. After just over a year with WWE, Thorn was taken off TV and sent back to FCW, where he was later released. Since then, Thorn has tried his hand at a stint on the independent circuit, but has disappeared from view over the past 7 years, and doesn't seem to be performing in front of live crowds anymore.
5.
5. Nathan Jones. Nathan Jones is a superstar who was given a number of chances in WWE, and was even part of WrestleMania 19, and seen as The Undertaker's biggest protege around the time. Jones was solid on the mic, and looked like someone who could definitely have a future in WWE, to the point where he was even given a lot of hype ahead of his debut. The issue was that Jones didn't have much in terms of ability in the ring, and what he did have to offer got stale quickly. Jones wasn't with the company for long before he made the decision to leave, but the one thing that many of the WWE universe remember about Jones is his cameo in 2004 film Troy. It's said that someone of his physique wasn't able to go much further in WWE, but he was part of an era that included a number of hits and misses for WWE.
4.
4. The Highlanders. There have been a number of forgettable tag teams in WWE over the past few decades, but the Highlanders are perhaps one of the most unlucky. The company has attempted to give some teams the strangest gimmicks to allow them to stand out, and the Highlanders were no exception, as they were seen as Scottish brothers Robbie and Rory McAllister, and would wrestle in kilts. Sadly for the brothers, they were never able to make much of an impact in WWE, and the one thing that many WWE fans remember about the duo is the way they were released. It seems that Robbie was in attendance at a TNA taping, and was shown on camera before a WWE official called and told him to leave, which he did. He lost his entire paycheck for WrestleMania that year before being released from WWE a few months later, along with his brother.
3.
3. Cos Arnie. Having a gimmick that stands out isn't always something that is guaranteed to get you over. Cos Arnie proved this when he became an evil carnival worker. It didn't seem to be able to connect with the WWE universe in the way WWE had hoped. Cos Arnie didn't last long in WWE, since he was basically buried from the moment he made his debut. It's sad because WWE built up his debut for so long with such great vignettes, and then he seemed to fail to deliver. Needless to say, Cos Arnie was replaced just 2 months after he made his official debut on WWE TV, after it was reported that he failed to turn up for a match. He has been able to continue to work in the business over the past few years, with a lengthy stint in Chikara to his name, but regardless of what Cos Arnie goes on to achieve, he will always be the flop that was once in WWE.
2.
2. Maxine. Before NXT became the phenomenon that it currently is, WWE used it in a competition-style format, and back in 2010 the company presented their first ever all-female version of the show. This included a number of upcoming female wrestlers like AJ Lee, Caitlyn, and Naomi, but it also included some forgettable women who weren't able to make a lasting name for themselves on the main roster. Maxine was one of those women, and could easily have become a star if given the chance, but it is reported that Triple H stole her idea for a gimmick and gave it to Oksana, which left her with nothing moving forward, so she asked for her WWE release. She has since gone on to make a name for herself in Lucha Underground, and put her entire WWE career behind her. It's ironic that Maxine actually wants to forget her career in WWE since it has become quite forgettable to the WWE universe.
1.
1. Michael Tarver. The Nexus are definitely one of the most memorable stables that WWE has been able to create in the current era, but while the likes of Darren Young, Heath Slater, Ryback, and David Otunga used being part of the stable to catapult them into a WWE career, it seems that there will always be one forgettable member of the group. Michael Tarver was one of the original members of the Nexus, and was built as the muscle of the group, but was later thrown out of the group by John Cena, and sent back to FCW. While many of his former tag team partners were able to make names for themselves on the main roster, Tarver was released from the company for being incompetent, and will now always be seen as the least successful member of the group. Tarver has attempted to remain on the independent circuit over the past few years, but as a forgettable former star, it seems that the bookings aren't exactly rolling in.
Yeah.